Hi, everybody. It's Mike from Here, the Watchman. I'm glad to be back here. We've taken a little hiatus from broadcasting here on YouTube, but we're back now. I want to give you a couple of brief announcements before we get in to the show today with our guests. First of all, go to hearthewatchman.com. We have a new website. We have two exciting conferences coming up. We've got Dallas in March. And then we have Long Island, a workshop, something we've never done before, a workshop that will be coming to you in May. Go to hearthewatchman.com, and I hope to see all of you at Operation Classified next week in Dallas, Texas. That is the Caravan to Midnight conference, breaking intel. If you're a truther, you need to be at that. So there you have it. Go to operationclassified.com. Today on the show, we have Mr. Ray Gano. Ray has been a dear friend of ours for several years now. He's on the cutting edge. He's doing some incredible stuff out there, and we're going to talk about that today. Ray, how are you?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm just so excited.
Well, Ray, I mean, look, you have been right out there on the edge for some time now. You have articles that are posted on your site and on Steve Quayle's site. I mean, you're really doing some great stuff. I'd like to get your read on the shootings that happened over the weekend in Pittsburgh, a heinous act against the Jews. What is your read on all that?
I've been doing some research on this, and it's interesting that you asked this because this is something that is kind of close to me. I've been telling people for a long time now, especially churches and synagogues and everything, they need to seriously take church security and implement some real security. Now, I don't know what the gun laws are in Pittsburgh, but if they are able to have carry and conceal and everything, they need to have a church security team. And again, this is something I've written on a number of times and made recommendations for gear and equipment and what people need to do and everything. But this is the world we're living in. And we're seeing more and more of hatred towards Christians and Jews. Why? Because we represent, God. And so the enemy doesn't like it. And the enemy is working hard. And in fact, the enemy is working overtime right now to take us down, take us out, and do as much damage as they can. And then at the same time, spin it to make it sound like it's all our fault. It's like, the crazy gunman from they haven't released any information that I've been able to find out so far, but the other social media networks refuse to work with the DOJ and the FBI, and Gab, which is a freedom-loving alternative to Twitter, worked with the DOJ, FBI, and just yesterday, Gab was taken out. They were deplatformed, meaning that the other social media companies and networking companies and such put pressure on the hosting company to basically deplatform them. And so from that, I am guesstimating, because again, no information that I've been able to find about the shooter is out. I speculate the guy was a Muslim, and so he went in and was going, crazy jihadi on the synagogue. That would be the only reason, because a lot of the mainstream social media websites are very pro-Muslim and anti-Christian, and Gab is a very conservative. The CEO is very conservative, and he supports freedoms and freedom of speech and everything like that. And so I think that's kind of my take on it. But to reiterate, I think it's very important, and this is just a prime example. I mean, about a year ago, we had the shooting down here in my neck of the woods, and where some crazy whacked out liberal went into a church and shot it all up. And the thing is, we're seeing the liberals are the ones who are committing these heinous crimes. And yet the mainstream media and all this other stuff want to paint us, the conservatives, as the bad guys, as the gun-toting, whack jobs. And we're not. None of these crimes have been committed by conservative individuals. And so this is something that's very serious. And again, churches need to really think about having church security in place. They need to start thinking, having, sound communication between the people who are working as security. They need to, post guards and post security in different places. They need to have contingency plans so that if some shooter does gain access to the building, that they know what to do ahead of time, so that they've trained this and done this and planned it and done the exercises to make sure that they are able to protect as much of the congregation as possible. And so this is the day and age that we're living in. We read about this in 1 Timothy 3 talks about, we're living in perilous times. And so this is perilous times. I mean, folks, this is pretty perilous. So that's what we need to be doing. We need to be taking this stuff seriously, and we need to be wise as snakes and gentle as doves. And we as Christians, especially Christian men, I'm sorry, we need to grow a pair again. We need to grow a spine again, and we need to step up and understand our place in the body of Christ. We as men are the protectors. We as men are the warriors, and we need to step up and do it, and stop leaning on all the women folk to pick up the slack and things. So we got to do this because, like it or not, man, the enemy is at war, and he's now bringing the war to us. And that's what we need to wake up on. It's no longer, oh, that can't happen in my church. No, bull crap. It's happening all over, and these people are whacked. I mean, just 3-4 weeks ago, stinking Antifa was in front of a church protesting and doing all their Antifa hatred stuff in Austin, and demanding a church in Austin to be closed down. And so if we as men don't start pushing back and start making a stand, then evil is going to continue to do this sort of shenanigans that they're doing, and they're starting to gain the upper hand. And ain't cool. Sorry, ranting there a little bit.
I love, excuse me, I love what you're saying, Ray, because, as a society, we have relied way too much on the women for years. It was the Mary Tyler Moore generation, let's say. And it is time for the men to stand up. In the area that I live in an undisclosed location in the mountains of Idaho, I guarantee you, when church happens on Sunday, there are in the congregation that are armed. I mean, we don't have up here. We don't have the crazy gun laws. I mean, we can carry a gun in town anytime we want. We don't necessarily do it up here to protect ourselves from ISIS. We do it to protect ourselves from and I mean real animals, not human animals, real animals,
bears and cougars and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff. But I mean it's weird because about a month ago, Obama tweeted, "Awaken the sleepers," as in sleeper cells and MK Ultra sleepers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think that what happened in Pittsburgh is the awakening of the sleeper cells?
Oh, I can totally see it. I mean, just looking at what the Democrats have been pushing and everything, and this is sedition, and people need to understand this. And I'm, on one hand, I love what Trump is doing, but on the other hand, it's like, dude, come on, these people are openly acting seditiously. This is highly against the law, and it's one step away from treason, and maybe Trump is just waiting for the midterms to get over with. I pray to God that he is, and I hope that he just puts the hammer down on these people. Like Maxine Waters calling for violence, freaking Hillary Clinton calling for violence. stinking Obama calling for violence. I mean, all these libtard social Marxists are calling for violence, and the willful idiots are following along, doing it. And I mean, just Antifa is a serious domestic terror group now, and people need to really be aware of what's going on with them. They are now everywhere, and they are getting organized and everything. In fact, just this in my latest issue of PZ Insider Report, I gave a report about the possibility of using drones as weapons. And I can totally see Antifa using drones to drop bombs and stuff on. There's a group going around the United States praying at capitals, and but they're going around and they're doing prayer meetings on the steps of prayer on the steps or something like that. But Antifa has been working hard to specifically target this group and always be at one of the capitals and incite violence. And they're the ones starting it. These guys are just there they want to pray for what's going on. It's important that we pray for our leaders, pray for our nation. And so that's what they've been doing, is going around state by state, praying at the steps of the capitals. And Antifa is not liking it. They're showing up with baseball bats and lead pipes and all kinds of other junk. They've been now throwing like M80s and other fireworks into crowds and everything. This stuff is dangerous and everything. And if one of us takes up arms and starts protecting ourselves, all of a sudden we're the bad guys, not these freaking lunatics that are causing all the damage and everything. And what it's going to come down to, Mike, I mean, if Trump doesn't step up and start doing something seriously, then the men of this country, the conservative men of this country, is going to step up, and they're going to start taking people out. I mean, which I do not condone the violence, but if you get pushed to a certain point, then, and they start, because these people are domestic terrorists inciting violence, and if the police aren't going to do anything about it and government ain't going to do anything about it, that's why we have the stinking Second Amendment, is so that we can protect our freedoms, protect our health, welfare, and our families. And if someone showed up on my front porch from Antifa, I'd shoot the crap out of them. So, I'm serious. These people are whacked.
I understand that. And you know what, folks, we're not, Ray and I are not advocating violence. However, I used to be a very, colorful man. And I used to ride with a rather infamous motorcycle gang. And at the time, I'll tell you, if somebody was coming at me or was shooting at me, I was going to shoot back at them. I mean, and that's just the way it is. And that's where we are in America today. Mm-hmm. The men need to stand up. We don't want to go out there and advocate violence. But if somebody is going to attack you, your church, or your family, you need to stand up. I mean, let's look at this, Ray. I mean, think about this. There's over 175 tweets that have not been removed from Twitter calling for the assassination of Trump. Mm-hmm. It's hypocrisy in social media. It truly is. I mean, if you and I tweet, "We love Jesus," they're gonna remove it. Oh, yeah. They're gonna pull it. But you can go on Twitter and tweet, "Kill the president," and you're all good. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's where the liberal agenda has gone. And there are those out there, Ray, that say that what a horrific time we are in, that we need to have armed guards in churches. And you've been to the Hear the Watchmen conferences before. We have armed guards there, and we have people in the room who are security that no one knows are security. Why? Because the threat is real. Yeah. So, I mean, let's address for a minute, if you would, the times that we're in. Why is it now that we are at a point where in a house of worship, we need an armed guard?
Well, an excellent question. And it is truly the days and times that we're living in. we are living in the last days. And it's interesting, for all my dispensationalist friends, we are kind of at a crossroads here. And part of me wants to say, is God going to flip over the sand glass or sand hourglass and let the sands of time run for another generation? Or is he going to let the sands run out and everything plays out? We don't know. But I am seeing a resurgence of conservatism and morals and everything. Brazil, they just elected a very staunch conservative president. Said good on them. I think what's happening is the world is waking up to the fact that the enemy, Satan, Luciferians, have been working diligently to control the world, and people, thanks to the internet, are waking up to this fact. And so what's happening is more and more countries are standing up and saying no more. And again, good for Brazil. In fact, Merkel just announced, the Chancellor of Germany just announced that she's stepping down. Odds are that a special election will be presented and she'll be voted out as chancellor, and probably a new, she's going to stay as the head of her party. But odds are, I bet if some party, a good, strong conservative party, stands up in Germany, that they'll probably gain the chancellorship. Germany is a mess right now. I mean, it's heavily being influenced, and it's completely horrible. And the people over there are sick of it too. So all over the world, what we're seeing is a rise in conservatism, and what people need to, like nationalists. Okay, I am a nationalist. But what the media is trying to do is paint nationalism as a bad thing. Ooh, nationalism, that's what Hitler was. No, he was a nationalist socialist, Nazi. So there's a big difference with these things. I'm a nationalist in the fact that I'm proud of my country. I believe that we need to be sovereign. I need the rights and everything of our country and laws of our country is what I fall under. I don't fall under the EU court, which just a couple of days ago again decided that a Muslim can't be prosecuted, or you can be prosecuted now if you talk about Muhammad being a pedophile. And so what that's doing is taking the rights away from people. That is a free speech right that has now been taken away in light of a certain religion, and that's not right. And so there is no equality in that. That now elevates that religion over another religion, and is giving them special rights. Now, because they now have special rights in this one area, they're now going to chip away and continue to work and having special rights on everything. And then what we're going to have here is Sharia law everywhere. And then also, oh gosh, what is it that they want to bring about? The caliphate. So that's the whole role of what's going on in the world today. But we're seeing over across the pond is Islam is working that. But here in the United States, it's Marxism, socialism, communism, and Antifa who is running the game here. So we kind of have two battles going on. Same sort of ideas and everything. Because when you look at socialism and you look at Islam, there's a lot of similarities with them and everything. But we're seeing this war being waged. And what we need to understand is this war no longer is Democrat, Republican, or anything. It is now good versus evil, and Lucifer versus God. And those who choose Lucifer are very vocal about it. Those who choose God need to start being vocal about it. And especially with these elections coming up. I mean, how many ago? I was reading like 53 million Christians stayed home from the vote. Shame on you. And if you're one of those, shame on you. Get off your rear end and get out there and vote. Your vote will make a difference. And I don't want to hear a bunch of bull crap saying, oh, my vote does. No, your vote does matter. And you need to get off your lazy butt and get out there and vote. This is serious, folks. I'm serious. We have a chance to either lose our nation or make great strides within our nation and return our nation truly to a conservative Christian viewpoint instead of the humanistic socialist viewpoint that we've maintained over the last 4 or 5 presidents. I mean, Bushes and Clintons and Obamas, all were globalists. And that's why they hate Trump so much and everything. Trump's doing a great job. And poo on you also, all you stinking Christians who are anti-Trump. Get with the program, folks. Come on. I mean, this guy's doing great things for our nation, and all you're doing is moaning and everything. Oh, We didn't elect him as a pastor, doggone it. We elected him as a president, and he's got a pair. So deal with it. Get out there and start supporting our president. Are you praying for him? No. It's what scripture tells you to do. But you're being all holier than thou. Oh, are you praying for him? No. So get it. Get with it, man. Come on. We want to change this nation and do things for good.
What you really think, Ray. Tell us what you really feel.
Sorry, I'm getting very amped up here, man. I mean, it's horrible. Like I said, Gab was pulled from the internet yesterday, and I was using Gab like crazy. And then I wake up this morning, and Laura Maxwell, dear friend of mine in Scotland. In fact, I think you've had him on your show as well. But all her videos were yanked, and then also about 1,000 other videos were yanked from Fringe Radio Network. And this is a conservative Christian network that's been on Spreaker or something like that for over 10 years. And someone complained because Laura is exposing some incredible stuff in regards to the occult, the Luciferians, and the connection with Halloween. She's touched a chord, and it scared the crap out of them. And Spreaker made John Taryn John Taryn or something pull over 1,000 videos, but it was because of Laura and everything that they had the crosshairs put on them and stuff. But she was crying all this morning and everything. She feels horrible and all this other stuff. But this is what they're doing. They are openly censoring and coming after us now. And they're trying to shut down the conservative voices. And what we need to do is start pushing back. We need to start saying, hey, no more, and start finding all these alternatives. I mean, if Gab needs money, they need to do a GoFundMe or something like that. And Christians need to stand behind Gab. The owner of Gab, or the CEO of Gab, is a very staunch conservative. And the social media elites, who are clearly leftist socialists, are against free speech. They want to control the speech. They want to control the narrative. And where companies like Gab and Minds and MeWe and some of these other really good companies, which I all support, and I have accounts on all of them as well, are promoting and creating free speech. So you can go there and truly speak your mind. Now, yeah, when you're in an area of like that, you do have to run up against some other wackos and everything. So if you get to have free speech, the wackos get to have free speech as well. But it all pans out in the end, and all gets all washed out in the end. So, but it's important that we have free speech instead of the social media companies controlling the narrative. And that's what's going on, and it ain't right. And again, I hope President Trump starts doing something about this stuff and comes down on freaking Zuckerberg and all these other, jackholes, man. But
well, look, Ray, let's talk solution now. I mean, and the solution is, you're talking about those of us that have a conservative voice, you and I, constantly get censored. We constantly get attacked. Let's talk about what you're doing, which is very unique. It's very exciting. You have a summit, for lack of a better term, planned coming up, an online summit, and where people can actually, hopefully, hear the truth without it getting censored or cut off. Tell us about what you're doing.
What we're doing is we have Last Day Warrior Summit. Last Day Warrior Summit, and it's actually a webinar, if you want to call it something like that. And what we've done is we've presented a theme, and the summit's theme is Patriots in Prophecy. And what I've done is I've invited like 15 speakers to come and speak on that theme. And I didn't I said, here's the theme, you guys go for it. And so each speaker has given me 2 hours, 2 one-hour videos on their ideas of what's happening in the world. I mean, for example, Mike Snyder has given a great 2 videos about the end of America. Gary Cogg gave a video, 2 videos. One video was how America is in danger, and then why Israel is still in play. And gosh, who else? Mark Sutherland. Mark Sutherland has given, you know, I interviewed Mark Sutherland for 2 hours, and he was really blowing things out of the water, comparing what's going on in England versus what's going on in the United States. And then Andrew Draper, who's also over in the UK, was showing and exposing how the elites are purposely, basically, desovereignizing all of Europe, and they're working hard at it. So we have a lot of speakers, and what you want to do is go to Last Day Warrior Con, I think conference, lastdayswarriorcon.com, and you can see all the speakers that we got there. We've given all the titles of all the talks. We have Pastor Steve from Australia. We have Laura Maxwell, who's talking about some of the items that she just got yanked on from Spreaker. We've got
well, folks, listen, we just lost Ray. I mean, last days warrior.com. Oh, you're back, Ray?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. My dog did something. I don't know what he did.
I saw your dog going through the back curtain there.
Yeah. So he must have hit the table. My mouse was just sitting like right on the edge, so I apologize for that. But the impetus to start this summit was free speech and censorship, and people are just people are having their work yanked, and people are being shadow banned. People are constantly being put in Facebook jail. People are being buried in the search engines, and everything is like with me, for example. All my articles and everything are being buried in Google. I'm on like page 8. If you do any searches on me or my articles, I'm buried deep. I just got out of Facebook jail again yesterday. And then whatever I tweet on Twitter, I have no idea if people are seeing it or not, because they shadow ban me all the time. Half of my people say, I just saw a post from you, or I just saw, hey, I tweeted this, and people are, I don't see it, and I subscribe. So they're shadow banning me big time. Facebook is constantly yanking articles. And in fact, Justice Knight, Justice wrote a really good article and everything, and Facebook shadow banned it. Because in fact, Lisa Haven did a video about it, and how she went to see Justice's article and was showing it ain't there. And she even went to his wall and everything. And it just, Facebook is making articles and stuff disappear. And so they are truly manipulating the narrative here. And I find it very interesting that they're doing this prior to the elections. And I think they're really working hard to try to sway the vote or manipulate the vote or something. And this is why we have created the Last Day Warrior Summit, so that people can come and learn the truth. But not only that, learn how to fight back, learn how to stand up, learn how to draw the line in the sand. Our speakers have given some incredible information. And in fact, one of the things that we were doing, Tracy and I spoke about this morning, and after Laura was, because Laura contacted me this morning, and she was all distraught and crying, and her video's been taken down and all this other stuff. And what we're going to do is we've created a special area in the Last Day Warrior area to house all these censored videos. And so that's going to be another area that you'll be able to gain access to, are these censored videos. And I'm helping Laura pull all these videos in, because she posted 15 videos, and she just did it just like last week. And something in these 15 videos scared the bejeebers out of the Luciferians. And I think she's touched upon some special information that they don't want out there. And so they strongly complained, and the speaker, like I said, went to John McTernan and said, we demand that you yank these 15 videos from Laura Maxwell, and some of those, and some as well as other videos. I guess what they did is they did a search on Halloween and Luciferianism and everything, and it says, we want these videos pulled as well. So John McTernan had to pull like over 1,000 videos in the last 24, 48 hours. And because of social media pressure. And so this is why what we're doing here at Last Stage Warrior is educating people and promoting these speakers. We need to hear from the horse's mouths what to do and how to stand and everything. Again, this is a war, folks. This is a war against good and evil. This is no longer, you know, Republican and Democrat or anything like that. This is a war of good and evil. And so we're excited about what we're doing here and educating people. So what's going to happen is you go to Last Day Warrior, you sign up for access, and then you now have instant access. These videos are going to be here for 24/7. We are not taking these videos down. And so some people say, wow, I don't have the money to gain access at this moment. That's all right. What you can do is save up for it. These videos are going to be here. Next year, these videos are going to still be here. We're not taking down these summits. And so we're going to be continue making these and building these summits and doing different themes and getting them out there. So they will always be here and always accessible. And so it's just know that you will be able to gain access to these. And there is no time frame or anything. They are up now. They are live now. We just opened them up last Friday, and the response has been insane. And another thing is that Christ tells us to go ye therefore to the world and go out to the world. And it's been amazing to us. We already have Australia covered. We have Singapore covered. We have Italy covered. We have Germany covered. We have South Africa covered, Canada, as well as a lot of people in the US too. So we are truly going ye therefore to the world and sharing with the world these solutions and these ideas and these basically sharing the work of the Lord.
Well, and Ray, what's the cost?
Cost is $100. It's what everybody is charging right now for a conference, and it's fair. And the thing is too, is not only are people able to access these videos, we've MP3'd all the videos so that people have access to the MP3s as well. So if you don't want to sit behind the computer screen all the time and watch these videos, suck down the MP3, throw it in your iPhone or Android or whatever it is you use, and go walk, go jog, go clean the house, listen to it in your car, wherever. But we have probably about, I didn't do an exact count, but I think we're sitting around 28 hours of teaching, preaching. And then I know that Tracy and I are going to do another video, because the video that we first did in there is encouraging people to vote and talking about censorship. Once the election is over, Tracy and I are going to do another video talking about the results of the election and what we need to do then as conservative Christians to march forward. So we're constantly updating stuff, adding new stuff. We have a resource library where a lot of the speakers have given us a lot of their newsletters or articles or speaker notes. And in fact, Laura Maxwell, she gave me some incredible notes backing up her Luciferian agenda and its ties to Halloween. And then we just have a bunch of articles and stuff in the resource area. But something that we have done is that under each screen, we have a link to speaker notes. And what people can do is click on that link and it opens up a PDF and you print it out. And what you can do is then take notes of what the speaker's saying. And in the resource area, we then put a cover, a binder cover, so that you can print it out and slip it down into a binder and keep all your notes. So you can sit there and watch the speaker as they're talking, take notes and everything, and then pop it in a binder. And then you have with you your binder notes of all the topics of what all the speakers talked about and everything like that. And this is just another way that we're working, trying to equip the Christian in this battle today, is helping them. Because when you take notes, your retention on the knowledge is so much more better versus if you just sit there and watch or just sit there and listen. It kind of like sinks it in, it cements the information in. So we're encouraging our attendees to also print out those notes and take the notes and create a binder for themselves so that they have something to go back to and reference, so that when the chance for them to share the hope, or the chance for them to stand up and be counted, they can open these notes and say, well, blah, 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 and have the facts at hand. So we're really focusing on educating Christians in these last days. And folks, this is a battle. We're at war, and we need to start taking this stuff seriously. I mean, God ain't going to come down a little magic fairy wand and go bing and make it all better. It's what we need to do. We're down here. It's our job. It's our stewardship. And, you know, for evil to prevail, all good man has to do is nothing. And good men have been doing nothing for a lot of years now. This is why the stinking social Marxist liberal Antifa people have
man, you're doing great work. Again, what is the website?
Last Days Warrior Con, CON.com. Last Days Warrior Con.com. So lastdayswarriorcon.com.
We're going to have to wrap it up here today. Ray, as usual, I love interviewing you because you're completely uncensored. Your opinions are clear, and we love you. We wish you the best on your summit, and we'll see you down the road. Folks, don't miss out. Go to hearthewatchmen.com. Check out our conferences. We're going to be announcing another conference later in the year, shortly. Come on out and be a part of the remnant. Join Ray and his speakers online. Again, Ray, one more time. The website?
lastdayswarriorcon.com. lastdayswarriorcon.com.
Awesome. All right, folks, that's going to do it for today. God bless each and every one of you. And remember, there's absolutely nothing that you can't do with Jesus in your heart, except nothing at all. Get out there and get busy. God bless each and every one of you. We'll see you next time here on the Watchmen's Report.